Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Kathy, and today I'll be sharing one of two videos using the Pink Avenue stamp set from Pink and Maine. And I also used the wavy scallop border dies, and I also used a cloud stencil. So I started out by stamping one of the little houses onto a piece of 80-pound Nina Solar White cardstock. I used My Favorite Things Extreme Black Hybrid ink. And I also created a mask for the house because I wanted to do some ink blending to create kind of a field background, as it were. The inspiration for this card, as well as the other video, which I will link at the end of this video, came about because I had two friends purchase houses recently. And the couple that I created this card for, they purchased a house that is sitting on quite a few acres. So while creating this, that's what I had in the back of my mind. I really wanted to capture the idea that there is this sweet little house that is sitting in the middle of a huge piece of property. So after I stamped the house and masked it off, I used one of the scallop wavy border dies to create a mask and placed that over and started to do some ink blending with Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink. And I kind of just wanted to create somewhat of a little bit of a hillside there. Once I was done with the ink blending for that, I used Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink with the cloud stencil to create a beautiful cloudy sky. Next up was to add some trees all around the house. And I did leave the mask for the house in place. And to create the mask, I just stamped it onto a piece of printer paper, cut it out, and then used Zig 2-way glue pen for the adhesive and made sure that it was really dry before I placed it over my image. It is repositionable, and obviously you can ink blend over it without any issue at all. I really wanted to personalize this card for them, so I googled a picture of the house, and it's a ranch style house with siding on the front of the house. So after I was done stamping the trees, I removed the mask from the house and used a Prismacolor pencil to actually draw lines in to give the appearance of the siding. Once I was done with that, it was time to start with the coloring. And most of the coloring on this card is pretty simple because the images are so small. But for the trees, I just went in and colored them all in with one color. And then to add some texture to the trees, I grabbed a darker color and literally just did little scribbly marks over all of the trees, making sure to leave a lot of the lighter color exposed because I didn't want the dark color to take over. And then to blend those out, I just went back in with the lighter color and just did a quick swipe over that. For the tree trunks, I just used one color. Again, the images are pretty small, and I really wasn't going to get a whole lot of blending on those tree trunks. Next, I moved on to the house, and I do want to kind of point out right here that technically you're not supposed to use a colored pencil until the very end, because if you want to do more blending with your markers, they won't blend well because the Prismacolor pencils are waxed based. I was not too worried about that. I was more looking towards making sure that the siding that I drew in stayed put. I didn't want to end up blending out those lines. So that's why I went in with a colored pencil first. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and play some music for you to enjoy while I finish up the coloring. I'll be back right before I color in the windows because there's a little trick that I did there that I definitely want to share with you. To color in the windows, I did want there to appear to be light in the house, but I didn't want it to be too bright or too warm. So the color I decided to do was Y02. However, Y02 is a very tart yellow. So in order to tone that down a little bit, I used BV quadruple 0 as a base layer first and colored the windows in with that, and then I went over it with the Y02. And that was a trick that I had learned by watching a video from Sandy Allnock. Once I had all of the coloring done, I did run the stamped and colored panel through my die cut machine with a stitched rectangle die, and decided that I wanted to have a little bit of border behind that, so I used some dark brown cardstock, adhered the stamped and colored panel to that, and trimmed off the excess with my paper trimmer. Added a whole bunch of foam tape to the back of that, and added that to the front of a top folding A2 size note card. That finishes up my card for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.